because I do support women's wrongs.
And the horse gave birth to a child.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. As you can see from my background, I am not in my apartment. I'm actually in New York City. If you did not already watch my New York City vlog, I'm here on a little solo trip, my first ever solo vacation. I came so that I could watch Stray Kids and I leave tomorrow. Honestly, this has been the most monumental, beautiful trip that I've ever been on. I feel like I've grown a lot and this trip really just cemented that I can do tough things, and I don't know, this trip has just been really, really great, and I'm very sad to leave New York City. It's such a beautiful city. I don't want to contribute to the Midwest girls that moved to New York City, but like honestly, if I was rich, I would move to New York City in a heartbeat. The fun of New York City is not going to be done when we get home, because today I went to the Strand, which is such a dream to be able to say that I went to the Strand. I have to pack all of my stuff in my suitcase, but I did get a tote bag and some other fun things from the Strand. What the Strand is probably, I don't want to say like most known for, because that would be a lie. They are really well known for their blind date with the books. So in today's video, I did get some blind date with the books and we are going to be reading them for this reading vlog. I chose these two because they were the funniest ones in my opinion. We're going to start light, because I do support women's wrongs. I love this. That is so funny. The one that I'm even more intrigued with, I saw this originally, I'm not gonna lie. This vlog, I was only going to buy one blind date with a book, because blind date with the books kind of scare me. I've read a lot of books. I have a feeling I'll get the blind date with a book, I'll open it and I've already read the book. But I saw this one and I could not leave the store without getting it. Like, this is genuinely, whoever made this, they need a raise. This is the funniest thing I've ever seen. I want to open this so bad and I want to read this right now, but I'm actually in the middle of a book, so we will start this when we're back home in Minnesota. I just wanted to intro this vlog, but we are going to be reading some blind date with the books from the Strand. That is just the funniest thing to me. Anyways, my hotel is, I accidentally booked the bougiest hotel without realizing. I just booked it because it was really close to the music festival that I was here for, but they have a water machine that does sparkling water. I will never be on a vacation as nice as this one ever again. I am back. I'm back home. And I know that this is like a blind date with a book reading vlog, but I did start and finish a book at the airport today. I went to some of the bookstores. I flew out of Terminal C from LaGuardia, which is basically the equivalent of, if you've ever been to MSP, their Terminal 2. Like, there's nothing in that terminal at all. Was just tired of reading on my Kindle. I wanted the feeling of holding a book and being able to annotate. And they didn't have, I think, Terminal A and B has like the Strand and McNally Jackson. They have little areas. The only books were in random sections that sold like Diet Coke and grab and go sandwiches and magazines, and then a couple books. So I saw this book by Elsie Silver, Fever Dream. I think it's her latest release, and my library didn't have it. So I was like, you know what? I'll actually allow myself to buy this book. I read the entire thing today. I've been at the airport since 10 this morning. I started this book and finished it on the flight here. I finished it with like 30 minutes left of my flight, and I have to say, I annotated so much of this book, and I was sitting next to a man who I don't think has ever used a bar of soap. Unfortunately, it was really unfortunate for me. It smelled really bad. But I was sitting next to a man on this flight, and he definitely saw me annotating smut. I'm just gonna be honest. This book is really good. It is kind of enemies to lovers. It's that sort of like Romeo and Juliet, families don't really like each other trope. Theo Silva, it's his sister. And I don't remember Emmett Bush as a character from any of the Chestnut Springs books, but he is a character, like a side character in those stories. So Theo and Winter are in this story. The Silva family is in this story. But the premise of this book is our main character, Emmett, needs money to basically save his family's farm. And so he agrees to go on like a reality dating show, kind of like Farmer Finds a Wife or whatever that one show was. And our female main character is not the producer of the show, but she's like working on the show. Obviously, it's Theo's little sister. So I really liked this book. I honestly think this book is gonna be a 5-star. I needed like a good romance book to just binge, so bought this and finished it, and I have my boarding pass as my notebook. Or not my notebook. I have my boarding pass as my bookmark, and I also marked it. I also marked in the book that Monday, June 8th, LaGuardia Airport in my annotations. So this is book 1 technically, but I will come back when we are ready to start reading the blind date with the books. We are gonna start the first blind date with a book. It's been like 2 weeks since I got back from my New York trip, but I was reading a different book. And so I am so excited because we are finally getting to the point where we get to read one of these. I think this is the one we're gonna start with. I'm kind of more in the mood for like a summery thriller-esque book. I like don't want to open this because that is so cool. I feel like I need to take a photo of this. Okay, let's open this together, see what it is. I'm gonna try and open it kind of nicely so I don't completely ruin the drawing, because I do want to put the drawing in my book journal. I really have no clue what this could be. I hope it's not a book I've already read. That's always my biggest scare with these, is like, oh, it's gonna be a book that you've already read. Okay, if it's Gone Girl, why can't I get it out? Hello? Oh, it's taped to it. Girl, let me out. Wait, this is on my Goodreads TBR. I think Sarah Caroli might have read this in a video. Did she get the same blind date with a book? Anyways, this is on my Goodreads TBR. Oh my God, I forgot about this book. Okay, I don't really know the synopsis, so we will go into this book blind together. I do know though that this is on my Goodreads TBR. So this is the first book of today's video. I'm so excited about this. Oh my God. Okay, yay. Yay, good first book. Some reading updates. It is right now Saturday morning, and I have been reading this book. You guys, this is so good. I did not realize when I was unboxing this that the author of this book is the author of one of my favorite books ever. Lane Fargo is actually the author of The Favorites, which is the ice skating book about the 2 Olympians, and you follow like a past and present timeline, and it's very much just a messy story about life and people who have a passion for their sport, obviously being figure skating. Lane Fargo's writing is genuinely, I think, one of my favorite types of writing. I think, especially now that I've finally picked up this book, Lane Fargo might be one of my new favorite authors. I'm enjoying this so much. So this story, we are following 2 POVs. One of them is a college professor who in her free time, she murders men who assault women. This makes so much more sense now. Then in our other POV, we're actually following a college student as she is navigating her first semester at college. She moved in with this girl who is very much like an extrovert, is kind of trying to push this girl out of her shell. And I just read a chapter where her roommate came back from a party. She was obviously roofied at this party, but we haven't come to that conclusion yet. I'm very intrigued because there is something that happened with our college student POV, her dad, that we saw. I can't really talk about what happened because I obviously don't want this to be a spoiler-filled reading vlog, but I think that the way that these 2 POVs are going to connect is I think that this college student, her dad, is possibly the next person that our professor is going to murder. That's just where I think this story is gonna go. I'm right now on page 110, and something else I really like about Lane Fargo's writing is the chapters are very short, so I feel like I'm just flying through this book. I genuinely think I can read really, really long books, and that's not a problem, but if it's a book with just really long fucking chapters, that is when it turns into a problem for me because it feels like I'm getting nowhere with the book. That is my little update for this. I have kind of a busy day. I'm taking family photos for Sarah and Gus. I actually went and saw the baby this morning. Stella and I went for a little WALK. I had some coffee and then I got to see the baby. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to read today. I would really like to try and finish this book tonight. That's kind of my goal. I have about 200 pages left, but if I don't finish it tonight, I for sure want to finish it this weekend. Yeah, that's my little update for this book. I will see you when we're reading some more. I haven't read a single page today. I'm having one of those days where there are so many things that I did today. Stella is right now snoring right next to me. Sorry if you can hear that, or the AC. I'm having one of those days where I've done so much today and I really shouldn't feel guilty about not having read or not having edited a video or other things that I wanted to do today because I have accomplished a lot with my day. But I feel really guilty and it's like ruining my mood that I haven't done some of the things that I wanted to do today. You know when you take a nap and you wake up in a worse mood than you were? That's how I am today. I'm right now on page 128. I did read a little bit earlier, but then the baby got fussy, and so I had to focus on the baby. I'm right now gonna crack open a little Dr. Pepper. I need to be better about not drinking so many like fun drinks during the day. I thought I would give some updates because I am right now on chapter 63. I want to say I have like 70 or 80 pages left of this book. This is a really good book. Lane Fargo is going to be like one of my new favorite authors because their writing is just so fast-paced and it's easy to binge. So good. I wish I could directly talk about some of the stuff of this book, but I obviously can't because it's spoilers. I was wrong about how the two different POVs connect to each other, but I actually like that I was wrong because the way that these POVs connect to each other is actually so much more interesting. And when it's revealed that that's what it is, then everything starts happening and you're like, oh my God, everything makes more sense. I also think rereading this book would be really fun because rereading it, now I know immediately and I would probably be able to catch on to things. She always waits till I'm filming to start drinking. Let's finish this book. Oh, I think I know where this is gonna go. Oh no. Oh, that's f***ed if that's what they do. Oh my God, is that what's gonna happen? Could they? Maybe? Oh, this dumb is okay. Good morning, happy Sunday. Last night I did end up finishing They Never Learn by Lane Fargo, and y'all need to read this book. The thing is, when I opened this book, I was already excited because I already had this on my TBR. I'm so happy for this damn blind date with the book because I don't know realistically when I would have picked up this book. I'm really bad with adding things to my Goodreads TBR, but then never coming back and actually reading the book. I knew I was going to enjoy this book because of the synopsis of what the story is about, but when I realized it was Lane Fargo as an author, genuinely I think The Favorites is my favorite book of all time. I would have to like spread out all of the books I've ever read on the floor, but I do think The Favorites would be like within at least the top 3. So when I realized that it was her writing is just genuinely impeccable. It's so good. The ending of this story and the way that this story wraps up, I did think that they were going to do a little bit of a plot twist and try and pin something on someone, but they didn't end up doing it. And I actually kind of like how this story ended. This book is a 4-star. It's not a 5-star. I didn't have that 5-star feeling while I was reading it, but I really enjoyed it. So that might just be me being very picky. My favorite part of day is morning, only because my caffeine intake has reset and I can have as much cold brew as I want. Not as much as I want, but you know what I mean. I love cold brew. Reading this book also made me realize that I want to go back and read all of her books. So my library does have Temper, which I think is going to be one of the next books that I read, but I do obviously want to read our next blind date with a book. So we are gonna open this one together. To this day, it has been now 2 or 3 weeks since I got back from New York. It's right now Sunday, so this would have been my big going to the Strand and going and seeing like Manhattan and Soho and the West Village, all of those things. I think about this date with a book so many times a day because that is just so funny. I stand by the fact that whoever created this needs a raise. I do think I know what this book is. I was looking at the register when he was checking out, and I think if you look at the register, it does pull up the barcode as what the actual book was. I think it's the Unmother or it's the something and I can like picture the cover in my head. So we will see if I'm right. I'm opening these so delicately because I'm gonna actually use these in my book journal and I'm gonna write my book review on this. Oh, hello? The Unmothers. Okay, so I was right. If you are gonna do this blind date with a book, do not look at the cash register while they are checking you out. I only did it for like a split second and thankfully I didn't see the other one, but I did see this one. I don't know what this book is though, so that is exciting. Leslie J. Anderson. So yes, this will be our next book. I'm not gonna read the synopsis. I just wanna go into this really blindly. I just read that our main character's name is Leslie and it's the death of her husband. The first sentence of this book is, Carolyn Marshall wanted a cigarette so bad it made her chest hurt. Girl. Remember when I said that we were gonna finish this book together? I ended up listening to the whole thing on audiobook today. On accident. Chelsea, how do you listen to a whole book by accident on audiobook? I had a really bad work day. Everything was going wrong and I had to do a lot of just like mindless, repetitive tasks. So I was like, hey, I can't focus in silence. Let me listen to this. And the audiobook went by so fast. So I ended up finishing this book and I didn't get to vlog any of my experience reading it or anything. Yesterday was Sunday and I read about 100 pages of the book, and I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I was really confused. This is one of those stories that is less about what the words are on paper but more about your interpretation of it. I don't know exactly how to talk about this book without spoiling it. I'm gonna try my hardest though. This book, we are following a woman who is sent to this town. She is a reporter and she has this story of this horse that gave birth to a thing. We aren't really told. It's very like ominous. We're not told if it's a baby, if it's a horse, what is it, but this entire town is talking about it. And the horse gave birth to a child. So that's just a thing and it's whatever. But when this reporter gets to this town, quickly they realize that this town is not what it seems. Everyone's kind of holding secrets and it's very much they're protecting their own. They don't want outsiders to know what's going on. And there is this like old, I don't want to say old wives' tale, but there's this old legend and lore that I can't really say because it would spoil what this book is about. But in my opinion, this book is talking a lot about teen pregnancy and what happens when women do or don't have the choice to go forward with the pregnancy or not. If you want to read this book, skip to this part because I need to like talk about spoilers. So the whole thing, I'm gonna give like 2 more seconds in case anyone's still here and they want to actually read this book. Okay, spoilers starting now. The whole thing is that in this town, people who are pregnant can go to this tree and do this ritual that will get rid of the pregnancy in them. It will give it to a horse. Stay with me now. The horse will give birth to the baby. Now, if they get the baby from the stable, it will turn into like a human baby. Stay with me now. I know I'm losing you. Stay with me. But if they leave the baby horse situation in the stable, it will just turn into a horse. And so like in this story, one of our main families is this well-known horse raising family. A lot of the horses in their front yard, baby, they got human eyes.
So much of this book is messed up. I don't think I would have ever picked up this book if it wasn't for this video. I am glad that I read it. It's definitely a very interesting story that I've never read anything like this. I safely can say this is the first of its kind for me. I do think this book made me realize I'm not the biggest fan. I don't even know what this genre would be, but like, you know, the cool girls that only read these types of books, or like Slewfoot by Brahm. I don't know what it is about these stories, and I want to really like them, but they're not my favorite. I had a better time listening to this on audiobook than I did reading it. I had a very hard time getting into the story, but maybe also I enjoyed the audiobook more because at that point I was already well into the story. I don't really know, but I did finish this today. I think it's either between a 2.5 or a 3 star, but that is my final opinion. This is genuinely the craziest book I have ever read. What? The blind date with a book cover makes so much more sense now that I've finished that. We are officially at the end of today's video. If you are still watching and you are not already subscribed, make sure to do that. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. I will see you guys all in my next video. And until then,